Alright everyone, it's time for a little bit of a blast from the past because a band that's been active for several decades, NOFX, got in trouble for talking about how only country music fans got shot, or they were making, off-color jokes. And a lot of it began trending because people were like, oh, we're going to boycott them, and this is unacceptable, and, basically, they're neoliberals, basically, at this point. Here you've got a punk band. And punk used to be about, like, really edgy leftism. Now it's sort of just garden variety stuff. There's a reason why punk died. And they're not even one of the better punk bands for the most part. Slightly unpopular opinion maybe among some, but I really don't care. Here's the thing. If you don't like what they're saying, they're not politicians. You're not paying them taxpayer money. They're just a band that plays fucking music, which half of it is meant to be offensive to begin with. It's punk rock. There's a real reason for it. If you find them offensive, turn them off and don't listen to them. Nobody's forcing you to read the articles about them. Nobody's forcing you to listen to their music, buy their albums and shitty merchandise. Nobody's forcing you to go to their concerts to listen to them rant endlessly about political issues. Nobody's forcing you to do these things. As far as I'm concerned, punk died when G.G. Allen overdosed. But here you've got a situation where people they're totally wrong. You're misunderstanding the very spirit of rebellious music. Now, I know a band that's now approaching geriatric stage, maybe not the most edgy material around. It's sort of like Eminem, who goes in this course of only a short half-decade from basically being on top of the world to, impotently raging at Donald Trump on Twitter and saying, oh, he's ignoring me, and it was very surreal, and then his album flopped and stuff. But that doesn't mean that they should be, like, deplatformed and shit for having wrong-think opinions. Who cares? It's like people were so offended, like Trump fans. They're offended, oh, Eminem insulted Trump and said, you fuck at him and stuff. Who cares, dude? Then don't listen to him and don't buy his albums. I guess a lot of people took that advice. The same is true. It doesn't matter if it's like a left-wing or right-wing band. The only real difference is that the deplatforming happens towards, specifically right-wing ethno-nationalist bands at this point. Or libertarians who are sort of lumped in with them for no reason. The funny part is, I'm sure that most punk bands and sort of political people that are in them probably believe in deplatforming, despite the fact that, they're the ones at constant risk of censorship. You'll remember all the Clear Channel memo after 9/11 when they were telling people, please don't run these songs, and it was basically a command to the stations that they were involved with. It was basically a statement, you're going to get harassed endlessly if you play these songs. So the Clear Channel memo, it wasn't really a legal command, a binding thing, but it was a command in a de facto sense, and 99% of the stations did abide by it. And they're talking about, there was fucking Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, which in the context is slightly funny. End of the World by, like, Skeeter Davis, a song from, the fucking late 1950s or something. I think she's still alive, by the way. She must be, like, 90 by now, but it's pretty funny. And it's sort of like, Soviet Union mentality, censorship-addled bullshit. Moral busybodies have no place in a polite society, and it doesn't matter who they're busybodying after. They're just going to be authoritarians. Look, from my perspective, this is no different than when a group of left-wingers get together and rage at someone impotently for having the wrong political opinions, and they happen to be like a conservative of some vague variant. It's no different. Attempting to tell people, well, shut up and apologize and stuff, just leave them alone. Deal with it. Stop being pussies, in other words. You're talking about a punk band. Punk rock is meant to be offensive. It's like, oh, yeah, this rap artist said unkind things about females. So? That's abnormal? Is that really odd? The punk band, they said something about the president. It's been happening forever. Remember Jello Biafra? Remember him, from, yesteryear? With, I think it was The Audacity of Hype, one of his albums there, and it was all very funny. With the, the Haitian Voodoo School of Medicine or something like that. And he was talking about, basically, Obama's a sellout. He's, the same corporate swill as any of the Republicans. It's basically true. I'm sure Jello Biafra's no Trump fan either, but, it's meant to be offensive. That's the name of the game. Look, I listen to grindcore and shit like that. You think that NOFX is going to be able to fucking offend me? It doesn't matter what they have to say about political issues. At this point, aren't they, like, boomers anyway? Or at least, like, old Gen X? So who cares? Mostly people pretend to be offended, though. Mostly, I'll tell you a secret, most of the time when people pretend to be offended, it is just pretense. They don't actually care. It's not like they're looking at the joke that they made and actually clutching their pearls. They're just pretending to keep up appearances. You know, everyone loves a good dogpiling. It's sort of like, daily blood sports, like a gladiatorial combat. Why do you think stuff like that was so popular? Why do you think competitive sports are so popular? It's the same basic premise. Fan participation is really, really fun for people. So moral busybodydom is just an extension of this. In the case of punk bands saying unkind things about shooting victims or Donald Trump, it's like, who cares? That's nothing new, and it's always going to happen. So I'm not going to get all offended by them. When you get offended by someone, you're giving them power, too. So really funny. That's about all. Peace out.